Yes. Hey, my friends, this is Andy coming to you live from Orange County, California. And yes, I hate the holidays. I hate them. I've hated them as long as I can almost remember. Now, I'm sure there were a few that I liked and they were fun and all that kind of stuff. Especially when I was, I think it was 8. I got my first magic kit. I had been begging for a magic kit. And at the time, in the 1980s, no, in the 1960s, it was like $100 magic kit, like a full-on kit. You had to actually sign a paper saying you promised not to give away any secrets, and you sent back that piece of paper, and then they approved it, and then they sent you the kit. And at the time, $100 and something bucks, whatever that was like $1,000, right? And so I'd been asking for this kit, and that is one of my positive memories of Christmas, is that I actually got that gift. Went on to do magic and work in nightclubs and restaurants and things like that. But just a little side story there for you. But the holidays overall, I hate them. I hated them. And so let me get back into that subject in just a little bit. And so we're going to go straight to one sponsor, and that is going to be this sponsor right here. You ready for this? Yes, the Orange County Patriot Project. This is launching essentially now. And this is what we would probably call a soft launch to my direct audience. And I'm launching it to you because we need some financial support. I'm going to come right out and tell you, we need some financial support to get things started. And we're working fast and furious. And we have a few things that are happening in the background. I got a phone call earlier today that completely just took tons of weight off my shoulders. Tons of weight because of, when you're trying to start a program, number one, and then my goal is obviously to make it a nonprofit and be able to have contributions come in where you guys can write them off and then be able to use it for the goodness of the community and be transparent and have everything that needs to be in play. Unfortunately, to do that, it takes attorneys, it takes processes, it takes filing fees. And then it takes other people to support other people that need to be around. You don't want me running this by myself. We need to have some other people. I can edit, I can do video, I can do lighting, I can do all kinds of things. But when it comes to focusing on what it is and getting the message across, that we need Christian-based politicians and leadership in our communities, when it comes to focusing on what it is that we're going to do to deploy other people out into the community to help this process continue, this rising of Christian faithful people in our churches. And in the churches that I belong to or have belonged to, we see huge growth. Again, across the United States, we see some churches simply going away and going dark. But I'm seeing here locally that we have a church, the Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, when I started going back in May, that just has exploded to the point where the pastor says, we cannot take any more people. We are full. I don't know that I've ever, as long as I've been a Christian or being in any faith whatsoever, heard a pastor say, we don't need any more people because we don't have any more room. And this is what's happening in Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. So now coming into the Patriot Project, this program, I am so encouraged by the messages I've been getting, by the phone call I got today that said, hey, I got this program in place. We're gonna fit you right in, and we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna do bada bing, bada boom. And these people, this person in particular, I trust with my life, and being able to do that. And then here's another organization that we're gonna hook you up with and get you connected with a bunch of men, retired and current law enforcement officers, retired military, Navy SEALs, Delta Force people, and we're going to connect you with those people. And then another, and then we have this. All right. So we have a lot of things begin and fall in place. What we need still is financial support. And so I'm going to go ahead and put the URL in here where you can go, and I'm going to give you lots of options. All right. There's going to be lots of options. I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. And so this whole section of this particular part of my show is really whatever you can do. Whatever you can do. I've given you all the options that you can, support and put into this organization. And I'm going to explain in detail so that there is nothing hidden, nothing that you have any questions about, hopefully, that will cause you any concern. So let me get rid of this lower third. I'm going to share my screen here. So bringing up the screen here, this is the website you will be directed to. In the comments, I just put the URL for the financial thing. Now, I was going to have a branded URL, but for whatever reason, GoDaddy is down today. Of course, the moment that I want to use a branded URL so that I can say, hey, go to ocpatriot.com, then you would do that and you'd be able to go to the financial page. The website's down and I can't make that connection. I can't make the redirect for whatever gosh darn reason. So this is the page you're going to be directed to. It says contribute and invest in the cause to save America. There's a video that I just made just a few minutes ago that'll be up there just to kind of, it'll basically go over what I'm going through right now. And then right down here is where you have different types. There's 9 different things that you can click on with your comfort level in regard to what it is you want to do. So you can give a one-time contribution of $15. That's perfectly fine and fantastic, and we love it, and it's wonderful. You can have a one-time contribution of $100, one-time contribution of $500. You just click on that below where it says buy now, and it will take you to the place where you just simply put in your either PayPal or Venmo or not PayPal, not Venmo, PayPal or your credit card information, and it will charge your credit card $15 one time, $100 one time, or $500 one time. Now, if you want to do monthly, I have 3 different options for monthly. One's $10 a month, $40 a month, and $20 a month. Same thing. You hit buy now, you put your credit card information in there, and just automatically, once a month, it'll take $10 off of that credit card, which is one of my favorite things, obviously, for a company to have is where you have this blood flow, this flow of money into the bank account that you got 20 people putting in $10 a month. That really helps to pay for some of those, those daily and weekly and monthly costs that come through in ink and, documentation and paperwork and all the little things that are going on there. So if you could do that, that would be awesome too. Recurring monthly. So this section is recurring monthly. You can choose $10, $40, or $20 to do that. And then I have a legacy option here that if you have something like $1,000 laying around, $2,000, $1,500 you have laying around that you simply want to invest in the United States of America and us as we go forward building a show. And I'll go into more detail in this area. You have the legacy option where it's just a one-time payment of $1,000 or $2,000 or $1,500 off your credit card. And then if that isn't enough, let me refresh. I actually updated this. So bam, there we go. And right down here, if you just simply want to use PayPal and give whatever, $1, $2, $3, $100,000, here you have PayPal or Venmo. Those are they both those go to my corporate, the Falco Enterprises Incorporated checking account. And then you can also, of course, use snail mail. Which is you write a check, you put it in the mail, and send it to us in an envelope. And there's the address that you're going to send it to Falco Enterprises Incorporated. All right. So I made it as easy as possible. There could be simpler to choose one. You have 9 options to click on a button, put in a credit card. You can use PayPal, Venmo, or you can send a check. All right. So what is this? So let me first talk about why the corporation. Well, I have a corporation in place. Obviously, I've had it. This business has been going since 2000 the corporation. But to build a nonprofit organization under the Orange County Patriot Program, it just takes time. The problem is we don't have time. We have some elections coming up in Georgia. We have, in a couple of years, we're going to have other races that are going to be happening locally. And I want to build a proof of concept here in Orange County. So the first phase is Orange County. Let me just go ahead and write this down here. And so we have Orange County Patriot Project, right? And then after that, we're going to have California Patriot Project. And then we're going to have USA Patriot Project. So as this one first, this Orange County Patriot Project, which is I simply maybe at the most want to take 3 months and really putting down an infrastructure of a core group of men and a few women, a group of men who will mobilize to rallies, to church functions where we may have somebody speaking that may be controversial in regard to Christian beliefs and maybe running for office, and so that we can support a church's security force that may be overwhelmed because of the crowd may be too big. if there's going to be a rally, on the corner of Yorba Linda Boulevard, Imperial Highway, instead of just necessarily just citizens being there and being strong, and then Black Lives Matter. We had a riot here recently, not too long ago, a smaller riot, but not on a huge scale. It was just simply people in the community, where instead now we'll have the Orange County Patriot Program, the group of men that's in this particular group. Well, they will mobilize 5, 10, 15, 20 men that will be there kind of in uniform and available to make sure that things don't get out of hand. Does that mean they're going to be like paid security force? No, it is going to be a volunteer program in the beginning until, again, we sort things out. But I want to get a group of men, 20 men, bodybuilders, weightlifters, men trained in tactics and that kind of stuff, not a militia. Right? We're not building a militia. We're just going to have a group of men that make sure that keep the peace, to make sure that people, if something were to begin, like scuffles or skirmishes were to get up, that they are there available. And so that is one phase of this program. The other phase is both a static studio to interview heavy hitters in the political Christian faith, for me to give messaging in regard to what it is that we expect from our politicians in Orange County, to begin with, and then out to California and the rest of the United States. So we're going to have a location where there's a studio where we can do podcasting, live broadcasting, news, updates, and all that kind of stuff. A central location for that kind of studio, and then a mobile broadcast option, so that we can go somewhere and do the same thing again at a rally or at a different church or at a some special event at a city council chambers or a convention center, that we can respond and go and move and be there with mics and lighting and a sound person and social media person, all that kind of stuff. And so those are the two things: a mobilization of men that are ready to help and support any kind of organization or situation that may be going on with security and safety, and then the getting the word out to make sure that we're spreading a message of strong, biblically based candidates and people out in our community, and make sure that we hold people accountable in our political arenas around our city and county and state and the United States of America. All right, so those are the essential two main things. They're certainly always going to be centered around God, country, and family. Every aspect of what we're going to do is going to be centered around God, country, and family. And so those are the pillars of this organization. All right. So again, the URL is in the comment section. I'm going to put it in there just one more time to make sure it's available. Make sure and share this with anybody that you think may want to invest in the United States of America. And again, I put it in there a couple of times. Just click on the link and it'll take you to that page, and you choose an option, and that would be great. Let's really get this thing going. My goal is in the next 3 months to raise about $100,000 to be able to do all the things that I think that need to be done so that we can make this happen fast. And so what is some of the hurdles that I anticipate going on? So at times I have a fairly large voice. So there's been times where I've had somewhere in the neighborhood of 96,000, almost 100,000 views on something that I've been doing. And I've had all the way down to 2 people, right? And so we have this huge thing. I'm not Dan Bongino. I'm not Jack Hibbs. I'm not Mark Driscoll, Pastor Mark Driscoll from Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm none of those people in relationship to the size of audience or people that are following right now. But what I perceive my role is going to be is to build an audience and to now kind of support and be alongside all of these great voices that are out there for conservative voices and capitalism and again, Christian faith, and to bring this up. My focus again is going to be starting regionally and then spreading out throughout the United States, and to begin to do that. So the hurdle now with saying that, the hurdle is what we know is happening with Dan Bongino, what we know is happening with Charlie Kirk, what we know is happening with David Harris Jr. is that the social media tyrants are shutting down websites. They're shutting down their social media sites. They're blocking and covering and saying that that's fake news and false information. We know that some, what's the gentleman's name? He's on Twitter quite often with some really good videos from the Black Lives Matter Antifa stuff that's going on. They shut down his PayPal account. PayPal shut down his account and his MailChimp account. There's people that the MailChimp, the company, whatever it is, MailChimp has now blocked access to all the emails that they collected because they're conservative. And so there's clearly an attack. And so this is, again, my hope is that coming in that we are adding another voice that's out there that they have to pay attention to, or they're trying to block. So they're blocking Dan Bongino, they're blocking me, they're blocking other people, but we keep popping up and we keep going strong. We're on Rumble, we're on Parler, we're on MeWe, and all these other social media sites that are allowing conservative voices, that kind of stuff. And we just keep going. We're not going to let them attack us and block us, and they are going to try. I have a feeling that my PayPal account will be shut down if anything really begins to happen on that PayPal account. The Venmo will probably be shut down, and so that's why we need to do this fast. That's again, if some people are saying, "Well, yeah, you're doing this really quickly and in a hurried fashion," yes, because we don't have time. It won't take long. My stuff has already been throttled and shut down. I went one day. There was one broadcast I had one day that had 12,000 people watching. The next day I did another show and I had what was it down to? I think it was like 75 people. So I went from 12,000 people to 75 people from one broadcast to the next broadcast. Right. And then you go to Twitter and I see that I have one of those gray little things put over one of my videos that says that this information may be false. And so even me, this little guy, is being blocked and censored as I move forward with information. I've interviewed doctors talking about, hydroxychloroquine. I've interviewed doctors talking about the stats in regard to COVID-19. I've interviewed other political people in regard to election, that kind of stuff. We had an author, #1 best-selling author, and she was on, and that video also got blocked because of some of the things that we were talking about. And the problem is that the things that most likely get blocked are things that are fact-based, science-based, and truth. And when you have that, they don't want that out there, and they begin to block it. All right, so I hope all that makes sense. So those are going to be some of the hurdles that are going to happen. You're going to see my accounts get shut down. You're going to see me get blocked. You're going to see a whole bunch of stuff. That is expected, and I'm surely know that it's going to happen and have no doubt that it'll happen. With that being said, what you need are a team of people that know how to navigate around all that stuff. So when I'm busy interviewing people, writing scripts or show flows and that kind of stuff, we have another group of people, 2 or 3, obviously probably teenagers that are busy trying to figure out how do we get around some of these things that are happening in regard to blocking our content, and making sure that our podcasts are going up properly, that our feeds are going up in the other platforms like Parler and Rumble and that kind of stuff. And so there's going to be a core group of people that are going to be doing that. All right. So I hope all that makes sense as we're going forward. And that is why we need people. That's why we need a team of people. And that's why there needs to be an influx of financial support, which would be great. So one more time, I'm just going to show you the website one more time. This is the page you're going to be going to. You have all these options. Again, there's a little bit, ignore my typos. I'm a horrible, grammarist. Is that a word? Again, getting this website up really very quickly, it was key, so that you could get there. The video that I put up right here that you will see, that will play. There we go. So that video will play and tell you about pretty much what I just got through telling you. And then right down here is where you have all the options: one-time contributions, reoccurring monthly contributions, or a legacy contribution, which is a higher dollar amount. And then if none of those work for you, then we have PayPal, Venmo, and then snail mail. Use one of those options. There's no excuse for you not to give something towards America as we begin to move forward. All right. So there is that. So let's I'm going to talk very quickly about the subject matter of what I wrote on the title. And I hope if you have any questions about that, private message me. If you know anybody that really, some other people that are, heavy hitters in your community that have a little bit of a war chest to help people launch a project like this, let me know so I can connect with them and hopefully get some more contributions from other people. Everybody knows somebody that has, a penchant to support Christian-based, conservative-based organizations that want to build a stronger America. Actually, I skipped this a little bit, but I want to just make sure I go back. If you're wondering why I keep going back to men, it's because men have been attacked for decades over the last few generations. That the TV shows show men in a poor light, that movies show men in a poor light, that somehow you have Antifa and BLM saying that the traditional family is a horrible thing that needs to be dismantled, and the attack on men over the last several generations, and in particularly the last couple decades, has been horrific, and it's damaged our country. And so one of my goals, and one of the things that has really been hitting me hard in my heart, is that we need to bring back that it's okay to be masculine. It's okay to be a man. It's okay to be the leader of the house, of the home. It's okay to be strong mentors to other young men as they grow up, to show strength and courage, to treat women the way that they're supposed to be treated, to raise children the way that they're supposed to be raised, with discipline, but yet love and respect at the same time. That we need people like myself and other people that understand this concept and want to bring that back into our country. And so if you are wondering why I keep repeating certain things and it always comes back to men, that is why. It's not because I'm a male chauvinist. It's not because I think men need to be in charge and women need to submit. No, that has nothing to do with it. We do need strong men in our community. Without strong men in our community, we will fall. We will fall. We will fail. All right. So that's why we keep going back to that. All right. Now let's now go to my subject matter. I hate the holidays. I have hate the holidays again since I was a kid. There's always drama, right? There's always, not always, but there's often family fights. There's the stress, especially when you have lots of kids, of wow, do we have enough in our budget to buy gifts? And I know they want X, but I can only afford Z. And the stress between getting time off and days off and spending times. Are we going to do it at the in-laws? Are we going to do it at the outlaws? Where is it that we're going to do it? When you add all that up as holidays begin to approach, especially as we're approaching Thanksgiving, is where it really begins to start. And the stress alone, just from the holidays, has for me, since I was a little kid, has always been horrific. Right. As a kid, even receiving gifts, it was stressful because we have some expectations of what we want and then we don't get it and then we're sad. Right. But then do we say anything or not say anything and that kind of stuff. Right. Oh, you shake the box and it's closed. Go ahead, it's not closed. I was really hoping for, an SSP. Anybody remember SSP? Probably just me. I was hoping for that 8-track tape of Ted Nugent, whatever that is. Right. And we shake the box and no, it's socks. Freaking black socks. I never wear black socks. Why did I get 5 pairs of black socks? And so yeah, that's stress. But for me as a child, there was always fighting within the family. There was always these arguments that were going on. It was, if we went to at one point we were going to the cousins. We had a few years where going to the cousins was like the highlight on Christmas Day. It was fantastic. And then suddenly we stopped going to the cousins. Like, what the hell happened? Well, mom, decided that she, blah, blah, blah. And then, they said, and then they said, and then now we're not going anymore. And so now what ended up happening after that is that the holidays ended up being a drink fest of martinis and more martinis. And then that became a stressful thing. So just telling you my story is why I don't like it. It's because of all those reasons. And now then coming into adult and being married with kids, it can be stressful with everything else that's going on. And so I've decided that at 58 years of age with 5 kids, that this is not going to be the case this year. Now you're saying, but Andy, the 2020 was horrible. We still haven't decided a president. Our schools are still halfway open, halfway closed. Businesses are still closed. The governor of California is saying you can't have gatherings more than 5 people during the holidays or else you'll be arrested. Like, how is it possible that you choose this year to go from hating the holidays to loving the holidays? You know what? It's because that's the kind of guy I am. It's because, you know what? If I can piss somebody off, it makes my day sometimes. and so I now go, oh, what? Now we can... Now I want to have a holiday. Now I want to have people over because I want to take a stand against the governor. I want to take a stand against the tyrant that we have named Gavin Newsom. And I am so looking forward to these holidays. If I could find just 5 more people that I don't even care who they are, so that I could go past whatever that number is. I'm not sure what it is. I think it is 5. I'm not sure. It could be 5, it could be 10. Whatever that number is. I want to go past the number and have and smile and have an eggnog and a drink and enjoy myself during these holidays by celebrating what I used to hate, which is the holidays. Now I love the holidays because I have the opportunity to make a stand, to to show my disgust with the tyrant that we have here as a governor in the state of California. Those of you that live in Michigan, you have the same thing. In New York, the same thing. I think Oregon and Washington also are saying that you can't have holidays because people will die. This is what some of the stupidest stuff that any of us in the United States have experienced whatsoever. And so now some of you have not watched my show over the last couple of days. Yes. Last couple of days, know that I just came off of COVID-19. And I'm getting these messages and comments from people from time to time saying, well, you should be more, you had it. And so now you should be more. No, I'm less fearful now that I've had it. I am here alive. I went to a great hospital. And again, listen, I've not always had great experience with Kaiser Permanente. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Not always has it been great. I've almost died twice at Kaiser because of stuff that they did not do. And so don't think that I'm just praising Kaiser because I like Kaiser, right? No, but I'm going to tell you this: during COVID-19, it was probably one of the greatest experiences I've had being sick. In what they were able to do for me in the hospital than I've ever experienced. They were fantastic. They had everything that I needed. All the remdesivir, the convalescent plasma, the steroids, the vitamins, the protocols, the waking me up every 2 hours to make sure that I was still alive, to taking me to the restroom when I had to go to the bathroom and standing there while I went to the bathroom and holding my hoses, the plastic hoses, and then being there for me while I went to the restroom. Sorry, my son's over here like making my dad. And so it's a virus. It is a virus. We've had other viruses. We have bacterias. We have other things that are going on. We have people shooting themselves in the head. We have a whole bunch of other stuff. And so in response to the people that send me comments, here you are, you're back out there at the church. You went back to church with 3,000 people. Didn't you just get out of the hospital with COVID-19? Yes. So I went back to church. And this time I raised my hands. I'm not a hand raiser in church. I've never have really been. Every so often if the pastor says, hey, raise your hands and let's give praise, then I go, okay, I'll raise my hands. But I was at church raising my hands. And that's because God was present. God was present in the doctor's hands, the nurse's hands, everybody that was at the hospital. God was present. And there I was in church with 3,000 of my closest friends at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, raising my hands for 3 services. And yes, I think maybe 2 people had masks the entire day that I saw. So, yeah, this is ridiculous that they are threatening that Joe Biden, one of his first things he's going to do is shut down our country again. Is that one of the most ridiculous things you've ever heard in your entire life? It is one of the most ridiculous things that we've ever heard in our entire life. Michigan shutting down their state, New York shutting down the state, California shutting down the state, only allowing 5 people to gather for Thanksgiving. You're an idiot. I don't care. Come and arrest me. I'm going to find as many people as I possibly can and stuff them in a house. And we are going to have fun. We're going to enjoy life. Whoa, did you see that? I just went completely blurry. Was that me or the COVID-19? Hold on. I leaned forward and let me get rid of that. Hold on. That won't happen again. All right. So I'm looking forward to these holidays. So yes, in my past, I've hated the holidays. But not this year. This year is going to be fantastic. There's so many really good things that have occurred through the pandemic, through getting COVID-19, through a whole bunch of other stuff. This has been a fantastic year in many, many ways. And you're saying, and you're just trying to turn things around in your head and pretend that nothing. No, I'm telling you, that is how you have to look at it. It's have joy in those things that cause you some stress and concern and some adversity. That out of it is going to come something good. And there's a lot of good coming out of what has been happening over the last several months. All right, so let's begin to look at that as the holidays are coming upon us, and the Thanksgiving's coming upon us. You got to give thanks. There's tons of things to be thankful for. All right, there's tons of crap that's happening around us, but there are also, based on what I'm seeing with my friends on Facebook, most of my Christian-based faith friends, they have some really good pictures and things that are happening in their life. We have people that are, of course, sick and need prayer and need our support, but also there are a lot of things to be thankful for as we move forward. We still live. No matter what, we still live in the greatest country on the planet. We still live in the least racist country on the planet. And we still live in a country that gives more to the needs of other people across the world than any other country on the planet. And so we need to be thankful that we still have this country as it stands right now. It is going to be up to us to save this country. But for the time being, we still live in the greatest country on the planet. So be thankful for that. And then as the holidays come in, and let's really just focus, I think this year, I think it's important to focus on the birth of Jesus Christ. And really kind of focus on that. I can honestly say, I don't think that that's been my focus after that. It's always that I've hated holidays, and it's December, and it's 25th, and it's stupid Christmas music and all this kind of stuff. And even though last year I tried to enjoy some of the services that were happening at Yorba Friends Church, I don't know that I really had the same perspective that I do now of how significant and important it is to recognize that the birth of Jesus Christ, God's only Son, that He later, sacrificed, is what we need to focus on and make that the significant fact. And then that Jesus Christ did everything for us. That He gave everything. He gave His life for us. He gave everything for us. And so to focus on that instead of the stresses of why we don't like the holidays, possibly, you may be with me on the reasons why you don't like the holidays, instead of focusing on those things, focusing on Jesus and His birth and what that meant to the world. The most influential man in our world's history was born on Christmas. Well, probably not on that date, but somewhere around that time, right? And so He's affected everything. He affects, our calendar. He affects. He's, one of the most well-known men in our history. Books have been written about him. The religion has been based on him. Wars have been started because of him, and wars have been finished because of him. Lives have been saved because of him, right? And so there's so much that we need to understand about the birth of Jesus Christ and how significant it was in our world, whether you're atheist or not, that His birth was significant to our world, and to focus on that instead of the things that are causing us stress. All right. So I hope that all made sense as I went forward. I really wanted to make sure and launch the page to help get us financially started to go from Orange County, California, USA. So make sure and look for that link. I'll put it in there one more time before I sign off here, and make sure and look for that link. And again, it doesn't matter what you can give. It's whatever you feel comfortable giving, whatever it is that you can do to now pass it on to somebody else that may be able to give. That is what we're looking for to get us going so that we can get this thing started. We simply need to file some documentation, some paperwork, hire some, one or two attorneys to do a couple things and get those things done right away. And then we'll begin to have scheduled events to bring some men together to see who it is that we can bring on board to start first with building a support system of men that will be available for some of the events that I talked about and suggestions, and then begin building the static studio and then the mobile studio, so that we can go out and begin to really right away. Again, I'm not talking about months down the road. I'm talking about in days. I want to be able to start getting things up and running and going so that we can do this right and do it well. All right. Any other comments? Piss people off. In a fun way. I'm not necessarily trying to be a complete jerk, but it is fun. I like your sign in the background. Jesus, yeah, somebody handed that to me at one of the Trump rallies, and so that's where it went. As soon as I got it, brought it home, put it on the sign. So I like that sign too. Hey there, April. I know that's April saying on from my COVID-19 Facebook page. All right, who else is on here? Who else did I see? I saw a bunch of people on there in the beginning. Where'd you go? Hey, Rebecca, nice to see you. Awesome to have you on here. Priscilla, awesome. It's good to see you doing so. I'm doing great. I feel good. I think one of the things that I'm going, I often try to, or not often, each day that I come on here, I want to give an update as to the COVID-19 and the effects. Yes, me too. Thank you, Laura. And that is what I'm going through right now. I think, and I don't know, I usually get a call from a doctor every day, but I didn't get a call from the doctor today. And one of the things I was going to ask her today is that my skin feels like achy. Right. I know the skin on our body being the largest organ on our body, obviously affected by all the chemicals and remdesivir and the plasma and steroids that were being put in my body, that the skin being a filter of those things within our body, out of our body, is, I think, going through some detoxing and some stress. And it really feels weird. Like I feel like my skin feels weird. I've been putting lotion on like crazy. I've been drinking water like crazy to try to add some moisturizer, but it just feels odd. And then my joints kind of ache. And again, I think it's part of it is maybe some type of withdrawal from all the medication that I was on, throughout the my 6 or 7, however long I was in the hospital, 6 or 7 days in the hospital, just constant, IVs and pills and stuff that I was taking and shots directly into my veins, right? And so that is kind of what I'm going through right now, where I'm kind of like out of it a little bit, a little foggy. A little achy. The skin feels just funky. Like it kind of hurts, but not painful in that way. It's really hard to explain how it feels. It just doesn't feel comfortable. And so that's kind of what I'm going through right now. It doesn't stop me from doing the work and being out here with you, but I'm just want to share with you kind of what's kind of going on. So had COVID-19, we had like flu-like symptoms, then it affected my lungs, ended up in the hospital. There was a day or two where they thought that it was going to be pretty bad. And so those were scary days. And then my recovery began. And then I came home. I'm now COVID free and supposedly immune. But now the recovery from the treatments, I think more than anything else, and still a little bit of issue with myself, an oxygen tank that I got to suck on some oxygen every so often, is now I'm in this recovery mode as I move forward. So there's an update on what's going on with my health. So I hope that helped. It's from the steroids, roid rage. Yes, I may have a little roid rage. I did earlier because I was recording a video and my son was jumping up in front of the camera just a few minutes ago like a maniac. And I did maybe feel a little bit of roid rage there for a second because I was like I'm trying to stay focused. And I got this little kid in the background going back and forth like what's the monkey? Not the monkey. What's the meerkat? Like a meerkat jumping around in the backyard. It was crazy. Isn't that animal that jumps around? Isn't it a meerkat? What's the just show? Remember the show that it was a stuffed animal, but also that it was the real thing? That was the kid show. What is that called? What was that thing called? Come on, Kelly.
You mean Toy Story?
No.
A meerkat is like one of those.
Not a meerkat, then. Yeah, not a meerkat. What? They're long bodies. They kind of look like a ferret, but they're not. And he would jump around.
I'm just guessing a weasel.
No, and on the TV show, it would sometimes be a stuffed animal, and then sometimes it would be like the animal in the video.
Oh,
and it was two guys.
Are you talking about
Come on.
moving around like it was like the kids' toys or whatever?
That's what I just said. What is that? What is the name of that animal?
I thought it was a rabbit.
Come on, there's people that have kids that know what I'm talking about. Nigrit.
It's a rabbit.
No.
It's not a rabbit.
Come on, somebody knows. All right, now I got to stay on until somebody tells me. Rebecca, you got to know. Diane. Hey, Diane, nice to see you. I think I might have missed you earlier. Thank you for being on. Laura knows. Come on. What's the name of that darn animal? The lemur. The lemur.
Oh, that one.
Yes, thank you. Priscilla. Thank you, Priscilla. The lemur. What is that? What was the name of that show?
Black and white one where like
yes.
Like into the jungle.
What was the name of the show?
I missed that show so much.
No, not Jungle Book.
What was it? I don't remember that. I was like, when that thing was around.
Yeah. Ray, what was the name of that show with the lemur? That was sometimes stuffed animal, sometimes real. And it was two guys. They were brothers.
You could have said that it was a guy and like a man and a lemur.
Forget it. So the lemur. Thank you, Priscilla. That's what I'm talking about. I just don't know what the name of the show was. But that's what my son looked like. Back to the point. That's what my son looked like when I was trying to film the video that you're going to see on the page, on the financial page. If you can't tell if my eyes are kind of going up and down, it's because he's behind the camera jumping up and down like a lemur and driving me crazy. And then I felt a little roid rage for a second. I was like, what are you doing? I'm going to knock you out. All right, my friends. All right, so go to the financial page. Let me go ahead and put the link in there one more time. Again, I am pressuring you. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm pressuring you to click on one of those buttons and put something in there. $15, $10. I don't know what. I forgot all the options now. $20 for it. Do it either one-time payment or monthly if you want to, or if you have a couple $1,000 laying around, throw it in there, and you have that option too. All right. So go to the link that's in the comments. If you don't see the link in the comments, let me know and I'll send it to you privately, and pick one. If you don't want to pick one of those, then you can go to PayPal or Venmo and send money. Both those accounts are corporate accounts that go into my Falco Enterprises Incorporated. And then, of course, there's snail mail. You just make it out to Falco Enterprises Incorporated. Don't make it out to me. Make it out to Falco Enterprises Incorporated. That money will be earmarked for the Patriot Project. And when the nonprofit gets created, all the money that's in that account or that's earmarked, right? I don't know how it all works. It's not an accountant. But then they'll take that money that's been earmarked and they'll move it over into the nonprofit. How you would maybe get credit from that, I'm not sure. Maybe it just has to be within the year or something like that. We'll make sure and get you the number, and it will be posted on the same website. The number that you can use as a write-off will be on there. It's just we don't have one yet because it's not been created yet. The idea first, raising the money second, and then creating the entity is going to be coming third. That may not be the right thing to do it, but that's how we're doing it because there's really no other option. All right, and so that's the way it's going to work. All right, so go to that link, pick something. 50 cents. I don't care. It would be great. It's just something needs to begin to flow so that we can begin to get things going. All right. I hope this has been good. And it's going to be fun. I wish I could tell you all the things that are happening in the background. You will be excited that none of that money will be wasted. None of the money will be wasted. We have some really cool things happening in regard to this situation. Who knows? We may create the next Fox network, but not change. Always be conservative. Based on some of the things, I'm really encouraged that, we have Newsmax and we have OAN, which is perfectly fine. And I really feel strongly, and I'm not sure that this message is even coming across yet, but I really feel strongly that this one show can morph into several different shows of a little bit of a network of news in relationship to Christian conservative news in our community. On a daily basis, it'll go, from, like me right now, or I do one show a day to maybe 3 shows a day, not just me, maybe somebody else. I have other people that I've already reached out and said, hey, I have an idea to do kind of a similar thing, but it'll be on this subject matter, but also Christian-based, conservative-based, and that kind of stuff. And so I want to let you know that this isn't a small idea. It's not a small idea. It is a small the beginnings of a small idea that I really feel pretty strongly that is going to grow into a much bigger idea, right? We may be even absorbed or put into something like OAN. And I mean, there's all these possibilities that have been in discussion with people that I kind of know in the business. I've been doing this for about 30 years in broadcasting and live casting and that kind of stuff. So I don't want you to think that this is just something I just started on my phone just a couple weeks ago. I've been doing this for a very long time. I used to be on something called Blab. If you don't know what Blab is, then now you know I've been doing this for a long time. Wirecast. I've been doing stuff in something called Meerkat. I was all the way back, even prior VHS. Anybody know VHS tape? I was making videos on VHS tape. And then it transitioned into DVDs, and then it transitioned to do live broadcasting. So understand that all of this is not brand new. The concept for conservative Christian voice, building our country and bringing it back to a masculine sense that being masculine is okay, it's not bad, is the new concept essentially, and being the voice for that, or helping that voice get larger and bigger and more vocal in our community. That is what I'm doing. The other stuff I've been doing for a very, very long time. All right, my friends, I love you guys. I appreciate your support and appreciate that you're watching and sharing, and whatever contributions you can make. I obviously appreciate whatever contributions you can make to help us get this off the ground. It is going to take some finances to do that. And that is just simply the way that our world rocks and the way it's going to whirl. Okay. All right. Again, I love you guys very much. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.